All right, today's post is going to be social proof. Did you really play with Derek Jeter? Went on eBay, $39.99, and I found the All-Star set from the year 1993. Wow, that's a long time ago. And so I harken back to being a 49th round draft pick in 1992 by the Chicago White Sox. 49th round out of 50 rounds, second to last pick. That's me. Went to Sarasota for 2 weeks, went to South Bend for the rest of the year, and the next year I get assigned to Hickory, North Carolina, where they moved me from catcher to third base. Never played third base in my life. Maybe 6 games in college. That's a lie. Maybe 6 games in college. But I wasn't a third baseman. I was a catcher. And they send me off to Hickory, North Carolina. I make 15 errors in 30 games. I am bad. Like, hitting great. I'm hitting like almost 380. I'm crushing at the plate, but I am terrible at third base. And it's a funny story. My teammates replaced my third baseman's glove in my locker with a frying pan as a joke to try to loosen me up. And like, Chris, you got to relax. Like, you're trying way too hard, dude. You got to relax. You're a good baseball player. Like, cut the shit. Just fucking relax and go play. And I went on to maybe make 7 errors the rest of the year, and I made the All-Star team, the South Atlantic League All-Star team. And on that team were guys like Andy Pettitte, Derek Jeter, a bunch of big leaguers. Obviously, I didn't make it all the way up for any extended period of time, but I was there. So here it is, the unopened pack. I have not seen, by the way, I haven't seen this package of baseball cards in a very long time. So I got an unopened pack, 1993 South Atlantic League All-Star Game, Monday, June 21st, Golden Park, Columbus, Georgia. There he was, down by the Chattahoochee. Look it up. That's when I learned Alan Jackson's song, Way Down Yonder by the Chattahoochee. Well, the Chattahoochee is an actual river in Columbus, Georgia, and I did not know that, being from Boston. And so I don't want to cut these cards open, but I want to be careful. This is an unopened pack, guys. I'm like a baseball card collector. This is wild. All right, we're going to open this up. So, did I play with Jeter? Yes, I played with Jeter. And this is going to be the social proof of that. Okay, here we go. Let's check it out. All right, so here we go. We got all the cards. There it is, South Atlantic League, 57 players. South Atlantic League, card number 28, Chris Mader. Card number 1, Clayton Byrne, Eric Chavez, big leaguer. Billy Owens, big leaguer. Scotty Air, big leaguer. Wow, look at all these guys. I forget half of this. Nick Del Vecchio, might have been the big leagues. Card number 21, Derek Jeter. There he is. Ryan Karp, I think, made the big leagues. Who else? This is wild, some of these names. I remember most of these guys. Jeff Alkire, big leagues, University of Miami. Took him deep, by the way. Alkire, left-hander from Miami. Took him deep in Miami. We lost 8-1, solo home run. Thanks for coming. We got smoked. Who else? Brian Rupp, maybe. Mike Murphy, great guy. Man, this is wild. Chris Harms, great dude. We were pals. He played for the Blue Jays. Let's see. Man, okay. All right, so let's do this. Flipping through the cards. So we got card number, we say 23 is Jeter. Let's check it out. Unopened pack. This is so fun. I feel like a kid again. Roberto Rojas, maybe big. Nick Del Vecchio, the guy hit bombs. He was good. There he is. Look at Jeter. God, he's so young. Greensboro Hornets. That's crazy. He's a kid. We were all kids. Ryan Karp, he was good. I hated that guy. He was so good. DJ Boston, I think he made the big leagues. Brad Cornett, another good guy. Chris Harms, this is wild. And there's the kid. Look at the kid. I look angry. Why am I so mad? I made the freaking All-Star team. That is the most pissed off picture of myself I've ever seen. That's fucking funny. All right, what did I do? How was I doing? I was hitting 290. Hold on a second. I was having a year. Hold on. Where are my glasses? These baseball cards. I'm 55 years old now. Can't read it. Okay. Oh, God. 6 foot 190. Well, that was the day. 49th round pick. I was hitting 290 at the break with 13 doubles, 5 home runs, 23 RBIs, 43 walks. I think I had almost 100 walks that year. My OPS was sick. 0 stolen bases. Shocking. I was slow. So cool. This is cool. So there I was, playing third base next to the guy who was a first-round pick, $1 million sign. First guy, look it up. First guy to ever sign for $1 million, Derek Jeter. Nicest guy in the world. He was so cool. I remember we were taking ground balls and warm-ups, and he was always an opponent. Now we're on the same team for a day. And a couple stories that come back is we were just talking, and he goes, Chris, they call you the Hornet Killer in Greensboro because they were the Greensboro Hornets. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, the whole pitching staff hates you, dude. Like, you're the hardest guy to get out. I'm thinking, like, this is Derek Jeter telling me this guy's going to be in the big league someday. Cool. I was hoping I'd be in the big leagues at the time. But we knew he was going to be a Hall of Famer and who he was. Two other really funny stories. So he's taking routine ground balls. And I'm watching him, and I'm talking to him like in the dugout. I'm like, dude, like, why are you taking so many ground balls? He goes, they want me to learn how to master surrounding the baseball, which is a shortstop. You would shift to the right, and then you'd come back towards first base to make the throw. And he goes, I don't really have a problem diving and making these crazy plays and barehanding. He goes, they want me to master the routine ground ball because I'm going to be getting 6-8 ground balls a game in over 142 game season. They want to make sure I don't fumble any of them. And I'm thinking, this guy's the best shortstop in the league. He's going to be a big leaguer. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. And he's out here in the Columbus heat taking ground balls for an hour. And that's what he did every day. Like, I saw it when we would travel to Greensboro, he'd travel to Hickory, I'd see it. And so after the break, we'd hang out. I'd hang out with him in Greensboro. We went out to Bennigan's on Route 40. I'm sure it's still there. Come to Hickory, we'd go out and tear up Applebee's. I mean, I'm really dating him. It's so funny thinking about this shit we used to do. He was just a good kid. And I remember the next year, he went to AA. I was bounced around between AA, single A. He made it to the big leagues. And I'm really going to date myself. This is long before cell phones. So how do I get in touch with Derek Jeter? I want to send him a congratulations message. We were pals for half a season hanging out. I sent him a Western Union telegram to the Yankees clubhouse. And as I recall, it cost like $40. And it was like, I want to say like less than 100 characters. Think about like a Twitter message. You couldn't send like a lot of words. It was basically like, hey man, so happy for you. Big leagues, awesome. Hope to see you there. Chris. And I sent my parents' number. I was living at home at the time. I was 24 years old. My parents' phone number. So I want to say they made the playoffs. I can't remember. And it was like October, November, and the phone rings. And my dad's like, hey, Derek Jeter's on the phone for you. I'm like, that's cool. I'm like, hey, man. These Mays, what's up? It's been crazy. I got your message. It's been nuts. I've been trying to get back to you. I'm like, dude, you don't have to apologize. Like, so happy for you. We might have talked for 2 or 3 minutes. I'm like, dude, I hope to see you up there at some point. I just won Single A Player of the Year, and I was thinking, I had a legitimate chance to make the big leagues. And, didn't turn out for me that way. But to spend that time with him and just being around greatness, like, I think there's a few things I remember. It's humility, number one. Super humble kid. I say kid. He was 18, 19 at the time. He was humble. He was the first $1 million sign, future big leaguer, lock, yet the nicest guy in the world. I'm a Red Sox fan, and it's funny that all Red Sox fans will say, that we don't necessarily like the Yankees, but we always respected Jeter. And a lot of guys we respected on the Yankees, and Jeter was one of them. But I got to be there. I got to play with him. I was on the field. I was on the All-Star team with him and played against him. And yeah, it's wild. So it's just funny I haven't seen this pack of cards, honestly, in 30 years. And to see these guys that I played with, I actually forgot half the guys. Ted Blackwell. Man, this is just funny. Let's see who else is in here. Charles York. Delvecchio, bombs. Just stud. A lot of good players in this team. But it's just funny how, there's levels, gang, in everything. And by the way, this is a great segue to business. There's just levels in everything. I mean, there's something like only 7% of high school baseball players make it to college. Only like less than 3% get drafted even for a day and play one day getting a paycheck. Of the 100, so 50 rounds times 30, 150, 1,500. 1,500 players get drafted a year. 1% will play one day in the big leagues. 1%. So it just levels, single A, double A, triple A, big leagues. And so, yeah, I mean, listen, I was one of the best 100 third basemen in the world, but that doesn't put you in the big leagues, right? It puts you in double A. So, but crazy to think about Terrell Wade. Oh my God, another guy, stud. Yeah, I just wanted to reflect on that time with Jeter, and was talking about Michael Jordan the other day, being around that. It's wild. It's 30 years ago. And I'm just a stocky kid from Tewksbury, Massachusetts. But it speaks to mindset. I did not have the, if you've met me in person, I do not have the physical skills that a lot of these big league guys have. But mindset, you couldn't beat me. You couldn't get me out. I was a motherfucker to get out at the plate, and I just wouldn't quit. And I think that speaks to my upbringing by my parents, being on great teams, having great coaches, and I don't know, it's just an X factor of just never quitting, never giving up. And I probably got a lot higher in baseball than my physical skill set would say. You know, Terry Francona, my manager, had the greatest line. I hit a ball in the right center field gap one time. Bases loaded, double. You stand up double, no big deal. Come in the dugout, and Terry goes, "Chris, you're the only guy I know that can stretch a triple into a double," which is to say I am slow. I should have been on third base, but I'm just not fast, right? I didn't run fast. My arm was okay. My fielding was okay. I could definitely hit. I only had 2 of the 5 skills that big league baseball players typically have. But to get to the level I got to, my father always said, of the 5 tools, there's one tool that the scouts don't measure, and they should, and it's heart. And I'll think of guys like, think Red Sox, like Dustin Pedroia, like small little dude who makes in the big leagues for 15 years, you know, one of the best players in Red Sox history, tiny dude, all mindset. Wes Welker played for the Patriots, all mindset. So there is something to be said for believing you can, believing in yourself, putting in the work, doing the reps. But at the time of, you know, when the pressure's on, you're at the plate, you don't want to let your teammates down. You don't let your parents down. You don't let yourself down. And I think a lot of that pressure and the fear of failure can do one of 2 things for people. It either drives them and gets them more focused, or it increases their anxiety and they actually don't perform as well. And oddly enough, I played in a golf tournament this weekend, and there's 20 guys in the field, and literally I'm looking at the list. I'm like, well, I'm only worried about 4 of them because the other 16 guys are going to check out mentally. And so the golf tournament really had 4 players that were going to win. And that sums everything up about mindset. And I think about Jeter and all these guys, like the guys that make it, they have a mindset and they believe in themselves, they're going to do it. They also have a great level of humility as to what they're not good at. And they have no problem being vulnerable, saying, I need to improve in this area. And again, all these parallels go straight into business. All the business owners I talk to, CEOs, leaders, all of these lessons can apply, which is why there are so many ex-athletes that do pretty well in business, because these are all the lessons I learned in athletics, college, professionally, that translate really well into the business world. But yeah, just blasting the past post today. There I was, 1993, the future Hall of Famer, an overall great dude. And I would love it, man, if our paths ever crossed again, I would just love to shoot the shit with him and hang out, and it would be great to see him. I'm sure, you know, it's one of those weird things in life. Maybe our paths will cross again. Probably will at some point in some weird way. But there I was, 1993. Good old days, glory days. Peace.